Welcome to the Sandersonian Institute of Cosmere Studies, where there's always another secret.
Welcome, Sixers, to the Sandersonian Institute of Cosmere Studies. This is episode 131, also known as the first episode of season 6. That's right, we have been doing this for 5 stinking years, and we're still going. Today is March 13th, 2023. I'm Bill, and I am joined, as always, by my analytical co-hosts, Amy and Jordan. Welcome.
Hello.
Now, before we get started, we do want to remind you that the Sandersonian Institute of Cosmere Studies is not a spoiler-free podcast. That means that if there is something in the Cosmere you haven't read and you are worried about hearing spoilers, you might want to go read those first, then come back and join the discussion. Tonight, Jordan is actually going to be leading the chat as we take a look back at the Knights Radiant Orders quiz. We've all retaken the quiz, and we have asked listeners to do the same and report on their results. For those of you who listen to the podcast recordings or watch the videos on YouTube after the fact, we do want to remind you that you can actually join us live and interact with us as we chat, as we record each episode at www.twitch.tv/InkeepersTable. We record episodes every other Monday night, starting at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So please join us, be part of the discussion, and help steer the discussion, because we look at chat pretty often, and it will sometimes throw a wrench into our plans in all sorts of fun ways. The Sandersonian Institute of Cosmere Studies is made possible by the support of our listeners and patrons. The show will, of course, continue to be free, but if you want to help out, head on over to patreon.com/Cosmere Studies. Even $1 or $2 per episode really, really helps us out as we work to improve the show. Patrons get immediate access to our Discord channel, where you can talk about the show and the Cosmere with other listeners. It's a great community. We've got a lot of great discussions going on there. Honestly, just about everything. Great people, lots of fun, good community. You also get early access to bonus episodes, exclusive access to other bonus content, and other good stuff. How are y'all doing?
Good.
I'm happy.
Doing good.
I am too.
I think it's gonna be our new tagline for the community, though.
What's that? Great
people, good fun, good community.
Food, folks, and phone. Wait, yeah. No, that's old McDonald's. Whatever.
He had a farm, I heard.
Yep. Now, again, this is our season premiere. It is our birthday celebration, so we all, of course, have our special mugs.
Indeed.
Cheers to y'all.
You see, Bill has the E-Tank mug for Mega Man. You can't tell it, but Amy has a Star Wars mug that she informed me. I didn't catch it until she said
it's Ahsoka's
pattern on her.
And if you do the handle, you see her skin tone, right there.
Okay.
What are those things called?
I like that.
Oh, her kind is called the Togruta, and I'm blanking on what the actual thing.
Because tentacles is not correct.
It's her version of Katara's hair loopies.
I will look, because there's a term, and I feel like a bad noodle.
I have my BlizzCon 10 Stein, and it's currently Montrails, okay. It's currently filled with a flavored water instead of Diet Dr. Pepper, because I'm trying to drink less caffeine at night.
Smart.
But I am sad because I
have unfortunately gone entirely off of carbonation, and it makes me so sad because I love my carbonated drinks. But I am now mumble years old, and it doesn't feel right anymore. It feels bad. Anyway, so yeah, happy birthday, guys.
Yeah,
happy anniversary.
Season 6 of the SICS podcast.
Season 6 of 6. Yeah. It's in the year of Sanderson.
It was foretold.
It has been
we knew. Foretold. We somehow knew.
Somehow.
Yes.
And on that note, we've got the year of Sanderson, but first let's move into the Cosmere Thing of the Week. Jordan, what do you got for us this week?
So this is the first Cosmere Thing of the Week I think you can buy. The Mistborn Gilded cards by King's Wild are back in stock. I got some, and I think I think both Bill and Amy got some at the
Mhm.
Dragonsteel. These cards are amazing. I'm just gonna, like, normally I show pictures, but I actually just have them here, so I'm just
They're
gonna
pretty gorgeous.
hold them up if I can
You're
keep them
you're
in
doing
frame. I have to remember. What's cool is they're all like metallic.
Mhm.
Like it's got like
They're
ruin
so
and
shiny.
preservation for the jokers. Here's Sazed, the king of diamonds. Like, look at that. Oh, it is so shiny. The cards are so wonderful. Okay, I am not good at mirroring my my
Just put it in front of your
movements.
face.
You,
There you go.
I mean, you're making a good point. But no, they're very, very good cards if you're looking for some cards that are Mistborn themed.
Or just a pretty thing.
No,
That's
these
They
are the
are very
fancy cards.
pretty.
These are the fancy cards that you keep in the box, never open, and sit on the shelf forever, completely unused.
Yep.
Right?
That's what mine
I don't
end
know.
up
I've
doing.
used them, but no, they're just really good. Great material. Highly recommended. 10 out of 10 would recommend. We're not actually sponsored, but
still, they're pretty awesome.
yeah, still pretty awesome.
Full disclosure, we were each given a deck at Dragonsteel,
that's
but
true.
they didn't ask us to promote them in any form or fashion.
But they're very nice.
No, it was kind of awesome because they were just kind of going around before.
You walk around just like, do you want one?
Just to all the other booths, like, you want one? And it's like,
well, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
What is it, Hades and Hercules? Is there a downside to this?
Going once. All right. So let's move on though to the Sanderson news. Before we dig into the Sanderson news update that we recently got, Brandon's book club episode 2 is up. They're continuing their discussion of Tress of the Emerald Sea. Definitely worth going to check out. It's on Brandon's YouTube channel. You can go see it there. So, but then the actual official update from this week was done by our very good, dear, close personal friend, Isaac Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
By close personal friend, I mean we've chatted with him a couple times, and he's a really cool guy. So,
his children play with my dice. It's great.
But seriously, one of the nicest guys in the world. Just genuinely
super
a
nice.
nice guy. Yeah. So it's been 1 year since the Secret Project Kickstarter happened. The record-breaking, record-smashing, Kickstarter project.
I mean, didn't it double it up? The previous
it more than doubled the previous.
It was a lot.
The previous record holder. So it's pretty cool. Unfortunately, as we know, Secret Project 1, the Tress physical things were delayed. But that's because they're too cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to go through the things like 4 times or something to get the foil.
On each side.
So the book covers, there's actually 3 sections. There's the front, the spine, and the back. And each of those has to go through the machine 3 times in order to get the proper foiling effects and everything. And so I'm just looking forward to having a really, really, really awesome copy of this book on my shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and I also like hearing that. So yeah, we've got other people now doing books 2 and 3 because we realized we were asking too much of one publisher to get this.
And they're working on it now, so that
so they can be ahead this time, which should be good.
Because we're less than a month away from Secret Project 2 coming out.
Yep.
So
I have hopes.
I still
hopes.
I really think the oh my gosh, I keep blanking on it. The third book, Secret Project 3. I can never remember.
Oh, you mean the Night Painter?
Yes, Yumi and the Night Painter. That one's gonna have the best cover. I don't know why I cannot remember that title to save my life.
I don't know.
I mean, it's going to be a weird scenario if someone says, "Tell me Secret Project 3's title or you're doomed." But if it happened, I'd be doomed.
Oh man,
I always forget number 4's title.
Then of course Brandon, meanwhile, is he's abandoned us. He's off in Hawaii doing
he's relaxing.
He's spending all his Kickstarter money, is what he's doing.
Kicking it on Patchy.
But he's in Hawaii. He's riding on the beach. He's enjoying himself, and he'll come back refreshed and ready to go. He's already a third of the way through book 5 of Stormlight. Bing. And it's great. I need to get get a sound effect of Brandon just saying big.
There's plenty of samples you could use.
Yeah, I'm
But yeah,
now
so-
going through Brandon's videos, trying to find random sound
Just
effects
the
for
right
me
thing.
to use in my other videos. And it's like, is there going to be a great crossover between my gaming viewers and Brandon people? Probably not, but it'll amuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Be great.
All right. Well, Jordan, you want to take the reins and we'll
Yes.
move on?
Okay. So, we actually have done this topic before. Do you guys remember how long it's been since we've tackled this?
I don't like to think about that.
It's been at least 2 years, maybe longer.
You are correct. Season 3, episode 7. So
boy.
almost 3 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Been a minute,
That
yeah.
makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah. So plenty of time for people to have changed, and also plenty of time for our understanding of things to have changed. And I think we're going to have a lot of that in season 6. I think a lot of looking at things and reassessing our old opinions.
There have been a lot of life events in that time. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's kind of an important 3 years when you think about it.
Hmm.
But so let's just start off with us and how we did. So last time I took this, actually last time I went back to the old episode to see if I could remember what my percentages were. And I actually didn't say them in the episode because I realized I forgot to write them down, and they were somewhere in our forum. But back the way we used to do it, I couldn't go look them up in our forum at the same time as we were streaming because of it would get rid of everyone else. But I found the old post, thankfully.
Okay.
And so last time I was Eltzcaller 64, Windrunner 53, Skybreaker 51, Will Shaper, and Lightbringer 50. And I don't know what's happened in the past 3 years, but I've apparently gotten a lot more wishy-washy. I'm still an Eltzcaller, but I'm down to 60%. I'm now Will Shaper 56%, Truth Watchers 52%, and that's it for anyone above 50%. I have become a lot more boring. Or maybe well-rounded, but let's be real.
Okay.
Did you want to go, Bill, or do you want me to go?
Why don't you go? Because now I'm looking for what my exact results were.
I don't remember what my...
If you can link me to that.
Because I don't know what my percentages were last time, but I remember my Edgedancer was like somewhere in the 70s, and somewhere in the 60s or so was Windrunner. And then I don't remember what the rest of them were because it's been 3 years. But yeah, so I just took it like 2 hours ago again, and what was mine?
You were
What was my percentage?
Edgedancer 75, Windrunner
Okay.
71, Truth Watcher 67, Bondsmith 63. See, you have to go down to Lightweaver at 60% to equal my highest. So
Yeah, but no, this is interesting this time around because my number one now is Windrunner at 71%. I was
wow. So you've changed orders.
I know, it's throwing me. And then Truth Watcher is 68%.
okay.
Edgedancer is 67, I think.
All right.
Will Shaper's between 67 and 63. I did it on my phone.
Will Shaper
and
jumped a lot then.
Yeah, and you can't... Anyway, I can't see all the percentages anyway. Lightweaver is 63. Stoneward is 56. Bondsmith is 53. Skybreaker is 50. And then Eltzcaller and Dustbringer are below that. So
I do find it funny that I've always been an Eltzcaller. Eltzcallers, you're just complete opposite.
yeah, I'm like, okay, now I'm a Windrunner? I don't know. Apparently I don't know. It's just throwing me. Still not a light, but it's funny. I had my kids take it, and they both got Lightweaver, which I did not anticipate. My daughter, yes, not my son, though.
Amy, to be fair, though, you thought they'd get Voidbringer.
No. I thought my daughter
someday.
might get... I thought my son would probably be a Skybreaker, maybe. See, he's very about you got to follow the rules.
Very,
except
very
he,
literal.
Really?
will break
because
him-
all your descriptions of him sound like
he breaks them himself, but he like insists that everybody else has to follow the rules, and he will enforce them on you. So it's fun. It's fun in my house. So I have Lightweaver children, apparently.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Children who are focused on lies. That's great.
I know, it's terrible.
Jordan, did you find mine by chance?
Yes, I did. Bill, you were 84% Edgedancer, 73% Bondsmith, 72% Truth Watcher, 71% Windrunner, and then it's a pretty big jump to anything else.
Okay, sorry. What were those again?
Edgedancer 84,
Okay.
Bondsmith 73, Truth Watcher 72, Windrunner 71. And then it was a pretty big gap to the next group.
Okay, so I'm similar on that, but Edgedancer, I'm 82.
Okay.
Truth Watcher, I'm now 74. Windrunner, I'm still 71. And Bondsmith, I'm 67.
Oh, Bondsmith dropped a lot.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that... and it may have just been my state of mind when I took it this time, because I do think of myself largely Bondsmith, but Edgedancer is definitely number one, and it showed through again.
Yeah.
So
no, and knowing you as soon as this quiz, I knew you'd be an Edgedancer, but
oh yeah, I did too. Like I wasn't even trying for anything in particular. I just like as soon as like I already knew I was an Edgedancer before there was a quiz.
I thought I probably would be an Edgedancer, or Lightweaver was the other one I thought, but no, apparently not. I don't lie enough.
But yeah, Truth Watcher and Bondsmith basically flipped for me this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is weird.
So I want to ask this question. Is there one that you wish you were like really high up that just is always low for you? Because there is one for me. I always want to be Dustbringer. Like once they listed like the actual like virtues of it, I'm like, man, I want to be about self-mastery and all that stuff. And it's always like my second to last one. I'm like, dang it. There's no self-mastery going on here, but I wish it were.
It's kind of funny. So Stoneward, we don't know too much about him, but from what I remember of like little snippets when I was telling my kids what the different orders were, they're about like facilitating and making sure that like teamwork happens and different things like that. And I'm like, I kind of wish I could be better at that, but apparently I'm not.
I have it up if you want.
They're the ones who like, I will be there when I am needed. So
yes. Yeah.
It says, that's their oath. The first line, Stoneward oaths focus on team dynamics, on learning to work with others, and on being there for those who need them. For the record, that is the exact bottom is Stoneward's. And so, I'm a great team player, apparently.
Yeah, for some reason, I've got Stoneward at 39%, which I didn't like. I feel like I've got a lot of that in me, but it's 56, second to last for me. My lowest is Dustbringer, and that's 30%.
Well, there's also a lot of them. A lot of Stoneward's also doing stuff on the outside. Being physical is a big part of their thing.
And that's exactly.
And we're not at all.
I'm trying to be. But my arm, so yeah.
No, and so I don't know about it. Chat, if you're here, if you could say the one that you wish you were, but you're just not, I think that'd be pretty interesting. Now the cool thing is we had everyone else in the community take the quiz for us, and some of you even sent emails letting us know some insights from your quizzes, and we'll be getting back to that right after our break. Okay, so let's start getting to emails. First one we got was from Kevin C. Kevin C says, I got Truth Watcher on my retake. This is the same answer as I got the first time, even though I've changed a lot. Interestingly, my second and third most switched from Skybreaker and Elsecaller to Lightweaver and Willshaper. I'm trying to fight off the hiccups now. So it's interesting. So far, Amy's the only one that has flipped it all.
I know
that's an interesting switch because Skybreaker is the one that's all about letter of the law, and Lightweaver is all about lies.
Yeah. Well, and Elsecaller versus Willshaper, I think, is kind of interesting as well because Eltsecallers are all about, scholarship, but the Willshapers are more about like adventurousness.
But they do share an ability because those are both transportation, if I remember right. Surge of transportation.
Probably. I'm so bad at remembering the different things.
I mean, it's one of those things. We'll see a lot through a lot of these that a lot of people have changed, and so it's interesting to see that everyone is, very much like Dalinar. We're not the same person throughout our lives. We're all slowly evolving.
Yeah.
So there's one Truth Watcher. Ivor G says, hey all, I got Edgedancer again. I think it fits me as I'd rather not be on the front line, but would rather help those in need. Thanks for the episodes.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So that one stayed the same.
Yeah.
So a fellow Edgedancer for you, Bill.
I know, but
Edgedancers for life.
I still feel more like an edge dancer, even
Amy.
though I'm sorry.
No, you're now an edge dancer poser. You're a will shaper. Pick up a spear.
No,
You'll know when the battle begins.
Edgedancers never say die.
No. I get a fly now, which is cool.
That is cool. That's a definite plus.
I can fly with Josh. It'll be great.
Now I'm just imagining someone doing a parody of A Whole New World, but it's 2 wind runners.
Fan art. Please do it. Please do it.
Oh gosh.
Fan artists. It'd be great.
Invita. We all love Invita. She says, I got Will Shaper, 71% match. Again, everyone is far more decisive than I am, which is kind of upsetting because Obvi, who doesn't want to be a windrunner? Apparently Amy, which was at last at 66%. But it makes sense since I like to read and don't like to fight. I tend to be skeptical and like to discover things. I also love to travel, so I feel like I would make great use of that travel benefit. As Will Shaper, got to check out Silverlight on my next 4-day weekend.
I mean, I just realized you're ticking off 2 different orders because you're no longer an edge dancer, so you've abandoned us, and you don't want to be a wind runner.
I'm just a terrible person. That's all.
I love
Send all of your rage emails to cosmerestudies@gmail.com.
You can just send that coincidence cosplay. It's fine. You don't have to send
I just also.
Oh no, I want to read it. I want to read this with popcorn.
I never expected to say the word obvi.
Obvi. It's fun.
I'm ashamed of you.
Look, I'm like Ron Burgundy. I say what's exactly on the teleprompter. I don't know. The just also like who doesn't want to be a windrunner is just such a great statement.
That's my new favorite game show.
No, I'm not worse than Moash.
Doesn't want to be. It's a bit wordy.
Did you guys see the chat? Secret Hiram. How could you? Amy is worse than Moash.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Ouch.
Shots fired.
Welcome to the most judgmental chat this side of chat. From my favorite name to always say, JJ McSquiggles. I am still a truth watcher because I am still a nerd. Which I didn't think that's what that was, but apparently.
I'm more of a truth watcher than I used to be. Am I more of a nerd? Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. It works. That tracks.
I'm not sure what else I would be, but I don't really love the Truth Watcher's powers. That's not how this works. I don't like lying, and as such, I would be hesitant to use the illusion powers, and healing people is useful, but I also kind of boring as a power. Being able to grow plants is kind of neat, but not really that useful either. Though we still don't know the powers of the enlightened Truth Watcher, and then an emote of eyes sort of looking around.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Shifty
to call
eyes.
it, though.
Shifty eyes.
Yeah, kind of shifty eyes, yeah.
Thanks for the great show, Squiggles.
There we go.
But so a lot of Truth Watchers, which I can't believe we just have this many Truth Watchers.
I'm wondering, so here's a weird thing, and I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on this, but
why?
This quiz came out right at the beginning of COVID, and the world has gone through a whole lot in the past 3 years.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that a lot of people would shift.
Have little tweaks here and there, or, big tweaks.
Let's also, it's just in 3 years' time, that's a lot of time for people to think of if someone was near the start of their college career at the start of this, they're now probably about graduated.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of things to go through as well. And so, yeah. But remember the thing about Truth Watchers, though, their illusion powers are meant to be used to reveal truth, not to deceive.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what that means yet.
Yeah.
But
just have to see.
We know that's how, I can't remember who said that.
Well, at the beginning of Rhythm of War, if I'm remembering, it's been a while since I read it, but didn't Renarin basically do that to Moash to save Kaladin?
Well, he showed a possibility. It was sort of like the
sort of Moash like not being a dirtbag.
Yeah, it was sort of like I think the Maladium
Mhm.
The 11th metal burning almost.
Yeah. But so it's like instead of light weaving to conceal, which is what the light weavers do, it's light weaving to reveal.
Yeah. Well, and he did something else in the because he found all the gemstone archive.
Right.
He did something to reveal that as well. But
Yeah.
I can't remember the specifics.
It's been
Wasn't it
a long
a tone or something?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
It's like
The
he
books are
figured
this
out
big, Bill. They're this big, and there's 4 of them. There's lots.
Yeah. But yeah, Truth Watcher O's are themed around seeking to find ultimate truth and sharing it, which can you imagine a bunch of Brandon fans? Yeah, there's a lot of Truth Watchers because it's like, hey, have you heard these books? And it's like, I'm not interested in your religion. It's not technically a religion.
Well, it's not just that; it's the all the theory crafting and the this is what's going to happen. This is all the predictions and stuff. They're looking for truth to reveal it, to share. They want to share their theories. All this theory crafting. That's what we're doing, even.
Yeah. Bill, actually, I just realized I should have done this before the show. Bill, I remember somewhere Brandon revealed like a lot of the breakdown of these things. I couldn't find it. Is there any chance your advanced Google Foo might find it?
What do you mean he revealed the breakdown?
Like they got like the total results and they found out how many people were different things.
Oh, like the percentage from when people
the percentages
had
of the different orders. I know Stone Wardens were like the bottom, but I was just remembered. I looked for it and I couldn't find it, but Bill's better at finding this stuff.
You mean Stone Wards?
Stone Wards. I can always say Stone Warden.
I thought you said Storm Warden. Anyway,
no,
fine.
Although that's a different thing as well.
Yeah.
From Q10 from Q10 Fanatic. Hello, SICS team. This is Q10 Fanatic. Please use that name if you're going to refer to me in the episode. You got it. When I first took the Knights Radiant quiz, I came back as a virtual tie between Eltzcaller and Windrunner. Both of those orders speak to me personally, as I am an extremely intellectual person who has strong convictions about right or wrong, protecting people who are weaker or worse than me. Which that's what my breakdown was, just not quite those percentages.
Okay, so this isn't Brandon, but a Redditor did a survey of like 300 some odd people who took the quiz and gave some percentages. And number 1, 28% were Truth Watchers.
Which that makes sense.
The second one at 17.2%, so a pretty big jump, is Windrunner. Let's see. After that is Eltzcaller at 16.9, Edgedancer at 10.3, Willshaper at 9.5, Lightweaver at 7.1, Skybreaker 5.8, Stoneward 3.4, Bondsmith at 1.3, and only 0.3 were Dustbringers.
Well, let's point out something though. This was probably on Reddit, and Redditors are not about uniting instead of dividing, so that makes a lot of sense.
They also compared and contrasted this to what people's favorite orders were.
Oh.
In which instance Windrunner was first for 25.9%, then Edgedancer at 15.7, Eltzcaller at 10.2, Lightweaver at 9.9, Bondsmith at 9.6, Truthwatcher at 7.5, Skybreaker at 7.2, Dustbringer at 5.1, Stoneward at 4.5, and 4.2% said Willshaper.
Which it makes sense because at that point there wouldn't have been a lot of representation of those final orders.
I'm not sure when was this done. It was done about 3 years ago. So this was before we even got the 4th book in Stormlight. So
yeah. All right, continuing with Q10 Fanatic. Just now, the results came back, and it says that I'm a Skybreaker with Windrunner and Eltzcaller as the 2 closest. I like being Eltzcaller better, and that is the order I most identify with, but I understand why the results came back this way. In real life, I'm an immigration defense attorney. I use knowledge and the law to protect people and their families from harm, so I can easily see myself in these 3 orders. I could go on, but I will respect Jordan's rules. Have a great day. For those who missed it, because I said only 1 paragraph, which I knew that would just get stretched out, which is why I say 1. All I know is I got a message from Q10 Fanatic in the Discord saying, "Why do I feel attacked?" Which, wasn't directly at you, but, our fans can be wordy. Who would guess that fans of
No,
Brandon
I don't.
Sanderson could be wordy? Doesn't make any sense. But no, I find it interesting. Moving from Elsecaller and Windrunner, all of a sudden Skybreaker comes Leroy Jenkins in taking
Yeah.
over.
And Else Color goes to like third place then.
Yeah. But it also makes sense.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting a Skybreaker plus Windrunner combo, since those are the two that are sort of rivals.
Well, it seems like I think more in world with the current situation is where they're butting heads as much compared to I could see otherwise they might get along better.
Because they were having issues way back in the day. We found out through the Gemstone Archive. But it makes sense because the Windrunners are all about, protecting those who can't protect themselves. Skybreakers are all about following the law. There's some
justice
butting
and
of
mercy.
heads there. Because
I guess that's true.
Because it's all about where do you draw that line? It's great literature trying to figure out where that line is. And that was part of Kaladin's whole arc in I think it was Oathbringer, wasn't it? Where he was like, it was in it was in Words of Radiance, where he's suddenly I don't know what anyway, the point is where he spent time with the singers. And
that's Rhythm of War, isn't it?
Oh
no, it's Oathbringer. It
is Oathbringer. Yeah. God, it's all bleed. I need to reread these things. I'm starting to get fuzzy.
Oh yeah.
But he starts. The problem is he can see too many people's perspectives, and it gives him this. He used to feel like he knew what to do. Now he no longer does.
Well, I mean, and he has a similar arc in Rhythm of War between him and his dad.
Yeah,
because he's trying to. He's basically so very black and white. Where he's like, okay, well, I'm not a soldier anymore, so I have to be this full surgeon, and it's just like, no, you are somewhere in between these two.
Yeah.
And because he and his dad are kind of very black and white thinkers, and they disagree because they're so similar, actually.
Yeah.
And it's just about where you draw the line, because you have to draw the line somewhere, otherwise you go mad. Because trying to be fair in an inherently unfair world is a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
And so you gotta draw your line somewhere, but it's a tough road to hoe. Next was Dysgraphic Programmer. My highest order is Truth Watcher at 62%. Following that are Edgedancer and Elsecaller. I suspect it would fit well as any of these, but there are items on this test where I disagree with the test itself. And okay, I'm glad where we're going with this, because I had issues with this as well, which this is the Elsecaller part. It contrasts compassionate with dispassionate. With other contexts, compassionate means giving a storm about other people, and dispassionate is about how you evaluate evidence and apply it to choices. These are not in conflict for me. Compassion informs my values and goals, and dispassion is how I go about achieving those values and goals. The other split I have from the test that is opposite is end justify the means and honorable actions. There is a common mistake people make about consequentialist moral philosophy, where the tactility assume that the consequentialist actor is ignoring some of the ends.
Tacitly.
Yeah, tacitly. Sorry, it was a lot of big words in a quick thing. If you let ends justify the means, it will lead you to do all these horrible things, and that will have bad outcomes, they say. I say, why do you assume that horrible things and bad outcomes weren't part of the consequences? I considered. If I hadn't, I would have done the consequentialism. I would be doing the consequentialism wrong. If I'm doing consequentialism right, then I already considered such side effects as part of the consequences. Likewise, if the ends justify the means and being seen as honorable by myself or others is a desirable outcome, and it often is, then I will frequently choose honorable actions. A lot of big words.
So I can weigh in on this. First off, yes, there are a lot of things in here that aren't necessarily in conflict with each other, but in this quiz, they are. And so it's just like, and that's why one of the reasons I think they gave the the gradient system, because it goes from 0 to 100%. And it's just like, true, they're not necessarily in conflict, but when you're given those as your only two options, which way will you lean? And there were a few of these that I just left straight at 50% because I was like, no, that's important and that's important too. So I'll leave this at 50%. They're not necessarily in conflict, but they can still affect the results of the quiz. So you kind of weigh them and you say, okay, which weighs more for me?
Yeah, like there were some where it's like being decisive or indecisive, and I'm like, I'm usually more indecisive, but then there were other ones where it's like, do you take
I'm
charge
sorry,
or do
if
you
you're
lead
sitting
or
there
do you
trying to
follow?
decide if you're going to be decisive or indecisive, doesn't that kind of your answer?
You've answered your question.
I know. Anyway, no, the one I was really meaning to talk about was like are you a leader or are you an implement or like a facilitator type thing? And I was like, if I have to be mom, then I'm the leader. If I'm in a lot of other situations, then I'm the facilitator.
If you're going to be mom, you don't have a choice.
It's me or it's dad if he's there. But otherwise, yeah, it's me, and I have to be the leader. So
yeah, Jordan and I both have sort of an odd experience with leader versus facilitator, because I think both of us tend to fall more into the facilitator role, but we're also willing to step up and take the reins as necessary. The reason I say you and I is because that's how I became, and I think how you became an officer in our science fiction fantasy club when we were in college, is because I tend to be a facilitator, but there was a gap that needed to be filled. I'm like, all right, here we go. So. See,
and I would say I'm a very bad facilitator. I'm only a good leader. I am not a good helper. There's a reason Stonewarded for me is at the very bottom. I'm not good at it. I'm great at following instructions if people give them to me. I'm not good at, I'm going to make your vision come to life. I'm terrible at that.
I'm really good at that.
Oh, you gave me a lot of leeway. I guess it'll just be my vision, and I hope you like it. Usually they like it. Because I found most people are just happy that someone else did the work.
Sometimes that's just what you want, is you just want it done.
But no, my mom is very similar. In that I do much better if I get to have some say over things. But I am a reluctant leader. I don't seek it out. It's just if I'm going to step in, I'm bad at being my way or the highway on things, which is why. But it's why things like this podcast have been very good, and I think it's why my numbers have gone more towards middling soup on a lot of things, because I've been trying to work on things like that, and so I think I'm those edges are getting knocked off. That doesn't sound
shaved.
Right.
Knocked off. Works.
Shaved off.
The corners get knocked off, is what it is.
Yeah, corners get knocked off. Edges get smoothed.
Rounded or smooth.
Rounded. I'm doing great with English this episode. I hope you all are appreciating it.
Your wording's so good.
Yeah, this constant stuttering brought to you by Dysgraphic Programmer. All right.
Thank you for replying.
Literally, like
it's fascinating to actually be there at the birth of a new speech impediment.
Yeah, I didn't know consequentialism would be the word that broke me, but here we are. Broke me like a stallion. We have Secret Searcher Hiram, who literally 20 minutes before got his quiz in, but we accepted it. Attached is my most recent Radiant quiz, taken while waiting for the show to start. You may use it however you want, because I know where to find you should you use it to Odium's purposes.
Is that a threat?
So, yeah, I think we got threatened. This is the first time I feel threatened by the
Well,
readers.
he already threatened me, with the Amy's worse than Moash thing. So
that wasn't a threat. That was a commentary, and he wasn't wrong.
What? I may take away your best dice slinger award now.
No, you can't take it away. It's on my shelf.
Well, you won't get it next year, maybe.
Did I get it this year?
Well, so far, but
is it an annual award? Can I actually steal it?
I was going to make a new one for each year, because it has the year.
The old one, she put the year on it.
Okay.
But I can make more.
I can scratch it off.
It's leather. That's a lot of
effort. It's vinyl on the leather.
Oh, still sounds like a lot of
I'll just get a rock. It'll look really good.
Anyway.
So Secret Searcher Hiram, after threatening us, the quiz result is very similar to many that I've done in the past. Windrunner always comes up first, with Stoneward and Edgedancer high on the list. Stoneward for the first time. Going into it, I would have expected Dustbringer to be much higher on the list, with Truth Watcher, Lightweaver, and Willshaper to be rather low. Overall, I'm surprised but not disappointed. Life before death, strength before weakness, nachos before tacos, mi amigos.
See, I would go tacos before tacos before nachos. But
No.
Tacos.
The Nako rules them all.
I have to misdirect for all the misspeaking I've done today, so I got to draw aggro to tachos.
That's okay. Tachos.
According to Ron Stoppable, the Nako comes before all else.
It does. It's true. But no, that was the first. He actually sent in his, like, he just gave us the picture of his quiz. And so Windrunner was at 73 and Stonewarden at 64%, along with Edgedancer at 64% and Elsecaller at 63%. So all of them right next to each other. But it's the highest Stonewarden we've gotten. I'm kind of surprised, just because with all the Windrunners we do get, I keep doing that, Stoneward. With all the Windrunners we get, you'd think there'd be a lot higher Stonewards, because they have a lot of the same feeling virtues, but it kind of pushes itself in a different direction.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, literally, Windrunners are, soaring around, and Stonewards are very grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like, just with the description, Windrunners are worried about the high concept of, I will protect those who can't protect themselves. Whereas the Stonewards just, I will be there when needed. It's not so much worried about the concept of what is right, who is right. It's just about, I gotta help people. Come to think of it, now that I think about that, that might, or maybe Wayne would be a Stoneward.
Wayne would be a Lightweaver, 100%.
Well, no, but just like, as far as like the secondary, because that's this whole thing. It's like, you're meant to be helping people, mate.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's more along the lines of he sees Wax as a Stoneward.
But I think this is an example of, like, because he was working on himself, and I think, like, this is the one that he moved himself up in that category.
Could be.
No, but like I have zero doubt that Wayne would be a Lightweaver.
That's where I would. I mean, just from what I remember of him in the book, yeah.
And I would love to see the conversations between him and his cryptic.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
His cryptic would collapse.
That'd be it. People talk about what conversations do you want to see? Wayne and design. I would love that chat.
Yeah. Still want Nightblood. Nightblood and Wayne.
Oh man.
Anyway.
There's a lot of fun conversations that could happen, but no, it's just one of those, because the only Stoneward we got to meet was that one that went with Adolin and Shalon into Shadesmar in Rhythm of War. We didn't get a ton with them.
I can see Rock being one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was in Bridge 4, so.
No, it's part of it is just sort of because I mean, Talon is their herald, and talk about be there when I'm needed. Like,
oh man, yeah.
For millennia, I will be there when I'm needed. He is a load-bearing person.
Yeah, and he's happy about it too.
Yeah, it's gonna get heavy whenever we finally get Talon's stuff,
which is probably going to be in the back 5, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it might be. Isn't it the last one that was planned?
I don't remember the order.
Moved it around, but
I just remember it was in the back 5.
Talon, I think, is the 4th in the back 5.
Okay. No, it's just one of those. That's going to be heavy, and I have a feeling not fun.
Yeah.
So there was one more email we did get, Well, it wasn't an email. I messaged my sister, Morgan. Morgan, I told her about Brandon and gave her access to my audiobooks. And then I'm like, let me know when you finish a book. And then next time she checked up on me, she had read all of Mistborn Era 1. And I'm like, you were supposed to check in with me. I wanted your insight. And she basically just plowed through the rest of the Cosmere the exact same way.
Oh, wow.
There's no breaks. And so I asked her, like, hey, did you ever take this quiz?
Mhm.
And she's like, no. And
Oh, this isn't the sister I was assuming. Okay.
no, it's Morgan. It's more. So Bill knows all my family. And this sister in particular, she was a gymnast. She is very quiet and she is a rock of a person. And so I assumed she might get Stone Ward, or Windrunner. And so I told her, like, take this. And I tried to get her husband to take it because I'm really convinced he'd be a Stone Ward.
Take this and call me in the morning.
Yeah. He's also the very last person who would ever read Brandon Sanderson. There's just no way. It's just not his cup of tea. But she took it, and I was quite surprised when she took it. She came out as Edgedancer at 74%, which really shocked me. Because she is quiet, very quiet. And obviously there's a lift bias here, but I'm not used to thinking of Edgedancers as quiet. I used to think of them as being slippery and
hey, I'm relatively
awesome.
quiet.
Yeah, but I think of like the whole of the order itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that was Windrunner, and she was Bondsmith 3, Stoneward 4. And so I was way off. Because Edgedancer would have been one of the last ones. You
just said she's a gymnast.
Yes, but that doesn't affect. I will remember. Also, sliding would be horrible for gymnasts. They
can choose when and when not to.
Windrunner would be way better. Just
Sliding
sticking to things.
Well, that's the thing. You can stick as a gymnast as well. You alter friction
You're supposed
in
to
either direction. So she can literally stick the landing if she wants.
Just be like, no friction. There we go.
This is a complete aside. One of my favorite things, because they always have to pose after doing their, going over the
stick the landing and then
My favorite is one where the gymnast just way over rotated, just slams her face into the floor. And she just you see, there's a moment of her in pain, but she just lifts her left leg up in the air for the
as salute. The ta-da.
Dude, just I don't know who she is, but I love her. She's wonderful. Dedication.
Ouch.
There's a gif of it. It's just, it's like the perfect version of nailed it. But no, so when her response was Edgedancer for me, here's my breakdown. I always struggle with these things. I'm so indecisive. So indecisive is definitely me. And then I'm like, oh, I would have thought you'd been Stonewards. And she's like, what were the Stonewards again? And I explained, the concept. And I said, there's a lot of outdoor stuff. And her response, outdoor. Maybe if I'm swimming or boating.
Nice.
There you go.
But no, I kept trying to find someone who'd be a Stoneward because I wanted to find the one, but the closest we're going to get is Secret Searcher Hiram.
Yeah, I think that. So here's my prediction. Rock is still alive, and Rock is a Stoneward. He will become a Stoneward.
It'd be
because he's not a Windrunner. He's a Squire.
That's right. He didn't ever get a
He hasn't bonded a Sprin yet. I'm almost certain that's what's going to happen. That's my hard and fast.
That'd be
cool. When I say fast, not quick, but fast, like as in still
firm. Yeah.
Firm.
Aren't there Spren the mountain
Peak
Spren?
Peak Spren.
Peak Spren. That's what it is.
Which he would be closer to them.
And you see them in Shadesmar. They look like Unkalaki.
Yeah. And so it'd be perfect.
There we go.
So. Yeah, I am very, very. That's my hard, strong prediction: is that Rock is going to be a Stoneward.
Yeah, I hope we get to see that mostly because I mean, isn't he the?
And I've been saying that since Oathbringer, so not just since Room of War, but
And isn't that the next interlude book that Brandon's writing?
Is Rocks, I
Novelette?
think, yeah.
It's called what's it called? A Horn Eater.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I hope it is because
it is. No, it is. It's called Horn Eater. It's
I hope he sticks with it. Is the because I've actually really liked all the novelettes he's done.
Yeah,
so
they've been really good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe that's because he gets to just shove so much into
just eating space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and Edgedancer is what made me actually like Lift. Before that, I was annoyed with her, but after reading that book, I was like, okay, she's wonderful. So,
which is funny because normally getting more of someone that you don't like is what pushes you away. But he was able to give a little more context.
Amy and I are in a fight now.
No, it's fine. It's funny, as we were sitting here and I was coming to terms with the fact that I'm apparently now a wind runner. I'm like, well, maybe I'm an edge runner or a wind dancer. I'm kind of in between. Because like people have done their Hogwarts houses and been like, well, I'm a Huffleclaw or things like that, because they're like not quite just one or the other. So I'm like, well, maybe I'm just in between. I don't know.
The way I've said it is, I'm a Hufflepuff with a note of Ravenclaw who wishes he was a Gryffindor. But I am absolutely a Hufflepuff.
Bert Macklin in chat, thanks for letting us know. Stoneward 65. Well, Stoneware 65%, Skybreaker 61%.
Don't mess people's don't comment on people's typos.
No, I've messed up a lot today. As I said, I got to point to everyone else's mistakes to make myself feel better. This is 100% my insecurities. I'm sorry. But this is just where we are.
Jordan has a sign over his door. It says "Misery loves company."
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, it's true though, right?
He doesn't actually have that sign, but
no, the sign I have in my room is if at first you don't succeed, lower your standards.
Yeah.
My mom gave me that sign.
Oh boy. Woo.
If you can't tell, my family sense of humor is very sarcastic.
Your mom gave you that sign and you are her firstborn. Let's think about the implications.
There's just so many layers to this joke.
It's like an onion. It's great.
No, your mom is awesome. She's fun.
Yeah. So now that we've gone through all the emails, I'd like to just sort of go through some of the orders again, because we did this last time, but with hindsight, I kind of want to go through the ones we didn't really talk too much about going through this, because we've already talked about Windrunners, Skybreakers. We didn't get to talk too much about Dustbringers because apparently no one is one. And we have yet to have a really good example of a Dustbringer in the books, because the only two we've really dealt with were Malata or Malota, or
I think it's Malata.
It's Malata.
I think it's Malata.
Whole lot of Malata. And then I forget the king of...
of the Reshi Isles.
Yeah, but I don't remember the name. Were we given a name?
Probably, but I totally forgot the name.
Yeah, I don't remember at all.
And then, but I'm fairly certain Shalash is going to be our Dustbringer.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
but I will seek self-mastery is the oath, and just that's going to be interesting. Just because it's all about, I mean, it's sort of the Uncle Ben, the with great power becomes great responsibility type of thing. Although, through the nature of oath, it's actually through great responsibilities comes great power when it comes to Dustbringers.
Potato.
No, I'm fairly certain that Dustbringer, like the personality in a less villainous form, like is Sylar from Heroes. The ones who look in and pick apart. Honestly, I was of the opinion that there was a chance before Rhythm of War happened, obviously, that Navani could have been our Dustbringer as well.
Oh, really?
Because she looks into, like, the way she is with all the Fabrials and stuff, she likes to look in and see how it works and pick it apart.
All the inner workings and kind of an engineer that way.
Yeah. The other one I remember us banting about was Shalon's brother.
No. Not Halaran, but
No.
Balat.
Balat, yeah.
Oh, Balat, non-Balat.
Yeah, 'cause he had that thing where he was, torturing animals, and it was,
Yeah.
but we got the way, because we got his perspective. We know his is the result of a messed up childhood, and
yeah, he's got a lot of trauma.
and this was also before we got some of this stuff. But I thought maybe because you saw a lot of it was he kind of wanted to see what was on the inside and see how it worked, and it's it's clearly a coping mechanism, but it's like, oh, they might do something with that. That could be interesting.
I could definitely see that happening.
But it's obviously still from a very dark place to start. It's not.
I see most of her brothers staying more on a side character thing, and I don't know that they would become Knights Radiant. But that's just my.
I could see
gut
each of them
thought.
becoming a Knight Radiant. Actually,
I don't know.
Of them, I think Balat's the most likely.
Yeah, but I could also see the one who was obsessed with math. I could see him being a Truth Watcher.
I forgot.
Is that the drunk?
It's terrible.
And it's not the gambler. It's the one who.
There's Wisdom is one of them, right? Wisdom's the gambler.
Wisdom, I think, is the one who has the alcoholism.
And then Jushu.
Oh,
or maybe
I think it's Jushu.
Jushu sounds right.
Man, I gotta reread these books.
No, I'm fairly certain it's Jushu who she gives him the math problems, and it helps him with his.
But Balat's the one that actually got the interlude.
Yes,
and that's it's so far the people, like, he's brought in a lot of the people who've gotten interludes have become more important characters later on. Now, a few of those still I doubt will, because we've had a few nondescript
like the guy gathering wood, and like
Ardent Greg is going to be the key to the entire series.
He's the champion right there.
And then whoever that one weird dude was talking about people bringing light in their pockets. And
the last book is going to be called Ardent Greg Saves the Cosmere.
And there's going to be a video game tie-in. It's going to be like a Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up.
Oh man.
It all comes back to Ardent Greg.
Oh yeah. All right.
But the other one that we didn't really get to talk about that I wanted to discuss a little bit was Will Shaper. Because ostensibly the last book we got, Rhythm of War, was sort of supposed to be a bit of a Will Shaper book, but there was so much going on that
it was hard.
Yeah.
Well, especially because it was split between both.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on Venli and Eshonai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then on top of it, the actual will shaping stuff, I mean,
we got very little.
Yeah. I mean, she only got to the third oath, I think, or second oath, didn't she?
Because she was having to do it in super secret. She couldn't just work on it because, No.
Well, her entire arc was her realizing she was making oaths about freedom and it getting rejected. It's like you literally just saw a girl in a cage and you did jack squat. So try again later.
Yeah.
And she's like, son of a gun, you're wanting me to do crap now?
I have to do things about what I'm saying. Yeah.
This Knight's Order Radiant stuff sucks.
I have to
go back to working in the West of the Ghostbusters. You've never been in the private sector. You don't know what it's like out there. They expect results. And that's the Stormfather. He expects results.
Well, good times.
Good times indeed.
Well, thank you so much to all of our listeners who sent us your results. That was just, we really love hearing from y'all. And, we'd love to hear from all our other listeners. Just, send us questions. You can ask us about the Cosmere. You can drop us your ideas for topics you'd like for us to discuss during the show. And while you're at it, we would love to hear how you think we're doing. We want feedback. We want to hear what you would like us to talk about. What are some topics that you are really itching for us to get into? Give us interesting theories that you have about what's going on in the Cosmere. Just any of your thoughts. We want to hear from you. We love hearing from you.
And
you can send any
proves anything. It's easy to email us.
Yeah, and if you want to use like really, really big words to trip Jordan up, then all power to you. if you're angry at Amy for abandoning your order, or no, send all of that to cosmerestudies@gmail.com, and we might even read that as part of the show, especially if it's angry at Amy. No, I'm just kidding. Amy's wonderful. Be nice to Amy. We like Amy. You can also reach us at the Sandersonian Institute of Cosmere Studies, P.O. Box 970063, Orem, Utah 84097. We do have our own personal projects. Jordan, why don't you get us started with that and let us know what you have been up to?
Yes, you can find me at youtube.com/splice stream. I've got the first episode of my XCOM series now in the can.
In the can.
Yeah, in the can. I'm just gonna get a second one done before I end up posting it. Just want to be able to have 2 of those up to start that new channel. But if you want to just watch live streaming, Tuesday and Thursday, I'm playing a lot of Persona 5, a game I did not expect to like. For those in the know, I am in Shido's Palace right now, so I'm about to finish the original game's campaign. There's still all the DLC to go along with it. So if you like Persona 5, I think you should show up, because if you don't know the plot of Persona, I keep accidentally calling the metaverse the cognitive realm, because there's a lot of overlap in the ideas, that it's really weird.
Cool. Amy, how about you? What do you got?
My Facebook is Coincidence Cosplay and Props. My Twitter is @CoincidenceCosp, because my name is too long. My Instagram is @coincidence_cosplay. My TikTok is @coincidencecosplay, all one giant word. And my website is www.coincidencecosplay.com. I am just trying to catch up on stuff right now. I'm going to try and fix a bunch of stuff. And I'm actually making TikTok videos. I've made more for the podcast than I have for my cosplay stuff. But I have things planned for my cosplay ones, so hopefully there will be videos coming out in the near future, especially once I've nailed down the voice for Beatrice, my Imperial officer, and doing silly things as my Jawa and my Nazgul and various Sunderian things. So it'll be great fun.
You haven't told here that you got accepted into that.
Oh, that's right. So I am. So Rebel Legion. So these are 2 different Star Wars groups. There's Rebel Legion, which is the rebels. My Jawa got accepted there, and then, but like I was accepted months ago, but they didn't make the little thingy. I slipped through the cracks. Some house was like, "Oh, okay, so here's your official thing saying yes, you're official."
She's a
like,
windrunner. We don't want it.
Anyway, but 501st has also approved my Jawa, so I'm now a Jawa in 501st as well as Rebel Legion. So double. It's great.
So if anybody is mad at Amy for abandoning your faction in Star Wars, then you can send those emails to Cosmere Studies.
This is the way. Just wait. I'll be a Mando eventually. This is the way. Be great. It's fine.
That's awesome. No, Amy's Jawa is pretty freaking awesome. So definitely congratulations to you on that.
Thank you.
I also have another podcast with my friend Dylan. We talk about board games. It's called The Innkeeper's Table, and we have new episodes every Friday morning. Our most recent episode was our top 3 legacy/campaign games. So the games that you sit down and you play, and then you come back and you're like farther along in the story, and your previous game actually had an effect on the future gameplays and stuff like that. So we did our top 3 there. And then our next episode, we did a recap of a recent SaltCon 2023. SaltCon is a local board game convention. And so we sort of just did our postmortem after going. It was a lot of fun. I got plantar fasciitis because I was walking around all the time. So don't do that. Wear good insoles, because wow, it hurts if you don't.
If you go to conventions, wear good shoes.
Yes, wear very, very good shoes. Take care of your feet.
I learned that at BlizzCon that one year.
So yeah, for those of our listeners who want to support the Sandersonian Institute of Cosmere Studies, but you can't become a patron, we'd love it if you would just let your friends know about the show. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and to like and subscribe over on youtube.com/Cosmere Studies. And if you want to send us a good review wherever you listen, we would love that. Also, if you head over to store.streamelements.com/Cosmere Studies, you can buy our merchandise. Yeah, that's right. We slapped our logo on stuff and it's fun. So yeah, head on over there. Final thoughts.
I still can't believe I'm a windrunner. It's weird.
My
I
final
feel like I need to
thoughts-
take it again, but it's okay.
Yeah,
Be a
quit trying to
windrunner.
get the
Love
results
it.
you want. No, my final thoughts is here to year 6 of the SICS podcast. Here.
Here.
Amy, remember, one of the things that Brandon said on the post about the orders is if you don't like your results, go to this list and see which one applies to you better and
Yeah.
choose that.
There we go. Because I
can
feel like
choose.
I probably would be more of an edge dancer than a
Okay.
windrunner. Not that there's anything wrong with them, because I'm
Lies.
married to one, and my children are light weavers. It's fine.
You are literally allowed to choose. It's part of the quiz.
Yes.
So, in addition to the live episodes of the show that stream on twitch.tv/Innkeeper's Table every 2 weeks on Monday nights at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, listeners can find our videos on YouTube or audio versions of the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and just about any other service that carries podcasts by searching for Cosmere Studies. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook under the profile at Cosmere Studies. For our next episode, we are going to be discussing the evolution of Kandra society over the course of the Cosmere. Definitely going to be a really interesting conversation. So make sure to join us for the live discussion in 2 weeks on Monday, March 27th, 2023 at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern at www.twitch.tv/Innkeeper's Table. Until then, on behalf of Amy, Jordan, and myself, thanks for listening, and remember, there's
There's
always
always another secret.